Hi, this is Suki, the Brown-Eyed Stitcher. Welcome to my Stitchy Corner. Literally, not just here on the internet, but here in my home. This is where I stitch my treasure hunt bookshelf. It's not where I stitch everything else, but this setup works super well with me, for me, and it's different. So I wanted to start out this video showing it to you. So first of all, this is my stand. I don't really want to actually show you my progress yet. Okay, so this stand is Kay's Creations Stowaway stand. And if you have seen the stand and are familiar with it at all, you'll see that it is different than what you see. Literally the only parts of this that are the same is that there's legs. The stand actually, the legs should be the other direction. So instead of pointing this way, they should go out this way. And then there's like a crossbar that goes here to here. However, and there's a whole bunch of other stuff that goes in between here. If you have normal things like normal size Q snaps or scroll frames. However, I had to adapt it in order to work on my treasure hunt bookshelf, and so I did. I made it work for me. But I still have all the other pieces somewhere else in the house, so I'm not showing them here. But if you do want to see what the stowaway frame looks like and the different ways you can use it, I could do that in a different video if you're interested in. But I did adapt this for my use. So the scroll rods themselves are also from Kay's Creations. When I bought the stand, I asked them if they could make scroll rods that fit this size fabric, and they did. They sent it to me, and then I figured out how to make it work. So all I did was you're far away. It's okay. You had to be far away in order to see everything. I have the scroll rods attached directly to the legs, and the legs I flipped backwards. And the reason I flipped them backwards, I did have them flipped the other way first. The reason I have them flipped that way is because I leave it very loose to flip over easily. If you watched my Stitch With Me video, which was my last video, you'll see how often I access the back of my work. And so I leave it very loose, and the legs stop the scroll rods from being a weird angle. So I stitch looking out my window because I need to. I need nature and the natural lighting. I'm not usually up here when the sunlight's directly hitting this area, but if it is, I have 3 windows. I have a main window, and then this one's fully covered, and this one is covered with the shears right now because the sun is shining right now, right directly through that window. So if I happen to be stitching up here during this time of day when the sun is shining very directly in, I can just close the shears on this side, but still be able to see out this way. And then later in the day, sometimes I'm up here stitching in my chair, and the sun is coming in through these windows. I can do the same thing. I can close the shears, open those shears, still have access to see the outside. That's just how I do it. Anyway, so you may notice we're very close to the floor. I have a, I think it's called a meditation cushion. It's filled with buckwheat, and it's got a foam like topper part here, and then the buckwheat on the bottom. And I sit on this. It's very easy to do. It encourages me to sit up and not slouch. And then I keep a blanket down here. This is one of my crocheted blankets I showed in maybe video 3. I can't remember. But I keep it down here because I do get cold, and so I like to have blankets over my lap like all the time. There's blankets everywhere in my house. So I sit here, I put the blanket on, I look outside, that's my tablet. Here we go. That's my tablet. And this table right here, it's adjustable, so I can have it lowered when I'm sitting here. But if I'm stitching from my chair on a pattern keeper pattern, I can like easily bring this table out and raise it up to the height for sitting in a chair. And then this is how I keep my threads. I think this is the last thing for me to show you here. I will tell you the things I like and the things I don't like about this. I use Annie's Keepers, which I love, and I have them on, okay, so Annie's Keepers are floss drops. They are these individual drops, and everything, like, because of the light behind here, it's kind of washing everything out and making things blurry and whatnot. Okay, but they're easy to snap on and off the file folder hangers that you can purchase with it. Now there's another kind that don't have the hooks. I don't have those. I just have the hangy things. But they're very easy to snap on and slightly less easy to put them back on. And the Annie Keepers come with the hole on the top, so you can put them into rings as well. Like that. That lighting behind us really is making that more difficult. That's okay. So, I love these. Let me put them up here so you can see it. I love this. My threads are a little bit messy, but they're very easy to pull in and out. They only look messy because I do pull them in and out, if you watched my Stitch With Me video. But they're very easy to pull out, but you can see that the container is very short. I could not find a taller one very easily, and I was impatient, wanted something right away. So this is the one I got to use. So they do pool at the bottom. So if I were to pick something a little bit more perfect than what I've got, I would want something taller, but not too tall, because this is very easy to carry around, and I wouldn't want it harder to carry around. I love that it's metal, so I can stick all of these metal things. This is a needle minder. I can stick needle minders or my silicone jobby thingies. See, I don't have my glasses on right now, and so the screen to see how blurry this is looks blurry to me, but it could just be because my glasses aren't on. I don't usually need my glasses when you're very close to me, but you're a bit further. Anyway, so I like that there's metals. I can keep my anything metal like very directly on here. It is see-through. It's not fully enclosed. So I do need to go in here and just kind of, I probably just need to wipe down the inside so that the little like dust and dirt that gets inside of it is gone. It's probably time for me to do that. I'm not going to show you the inside. It's not terrible, but that is just something with the storage. That is how I stitched my treasure hunt bookshelf. Here. This is where. That's not how. This is where I stitched my treasure hunt bookshelf. And now, onto the regular part of the video. All right. Next, I wanted to give a few thank yous and point out some things to these people. So, first, Alara, you are super sweet. She was like my first supporter. When I posted on Instagram that I was thinking of making a Flosstube video, she was the very first one who said, yes, 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 do it, you'd be great at it. And she has encouraged me ever since. She has her own Flosstube, Alara, A-I-L-A-R-R-A. I will put her in the comments, because I doubt I'm going to remember to put it here in the video. And on Instagram, she is Alara918, and she does a lot of full coverage. When she does all full coverage. Now I'm thinking about what you've done. You pretty much do all full coverage, but you have some that, like Nomi's isn't full coverage. Anyway, I'm just talking to Alara now, because if you don't watch Alara, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. Go watch her. She also is just starting to make project bags. And what's super neat about that is that she already has a really good working knowledge of sewing and the construction of things that you sew. And so she is able to just dive right in and already think about the tweaks that she wants to make for these project bags. So I'm really excited to see how they come out. She also loves jewel tones like me, and we have a lot of similarities in common. So I love her. And I don't know, it's been probably like a month or 2 months. I got behind on videos, so it was probably December. But I was watching her video when she starts talking about this person that she's watching and how she's watched her from like the shadows, I guess. And it wasn't until very close to the end that I realized she was talking about me. But it was so cute because one of the things she said was that she thought I was a lot younger than I am. So I thought it'd be a fun little game today. Guess how old Suki is. If you have watched my other videos, you have a clue that I'm probably older than you think I am. But my birthday is coming up. It's actually next week. So it's a good time. How old do you think I am? And how old do you think I look? 2 questions. We are going to see. I'm curious. I love the look in people's faces when they realize I'm older than they had put me in their heads, and then they're trying to age me up, but I look too young to be as old as they think that I should now be. It's hilarious to me. So you're not gonna offend me unless you throw out some like, you look like you're 70 years old. Like, I'm not. We know that you're just lying right there. Okay, so guess how old I am, and how old do you think I look, or how old do I look to you? I am super interested in this. This will be fun. Okay, that was only one shout out. Okay, shout out number 2, or thank you number 2, is Man Darcy. I know a whole bunch of you have come over from him lately because in his last Flosstube video, he mentioned me. And he he thinks we're friends. Let's just be friends. Like, can we just say that, Darcy? We're friends. I'm terrible at communicating, so don't think that me not communicating means we're not friends. There you go. If we're not friends, I'm not watching your videos. Okay. Stitch Man Darcy. So if you haven't watched Stitch Man Darcy, go check him out. He's hilarious. And it just cracks me up. He loves editing his videos, so you never know what's going to pop up in the videos. His ukulele songs are like perfect. Okay, go watch him too. He's also on Instagram, Stitch Man Darcy. And then third and final one is Stitched Lit by Claire. And I will put all three of these people in the comments. I should have written that down, that I needed to do that, but I'll remember, hopefully. If not, one of you will call me out on it. Stitched Lit by Claire. In her last Flosstube video, which was just a few days ago, and I watched it this morning, she mentioned me as well, and also seems to think that our friendship is one-sided on her side. So, again, I'm awful at communicating. I know this. I don't even always respond, but I try to. I'm getting better because I try to respond to everyone's comments here. I've gotten a lot of DMs from people, but sometimes I don't really know how to be like a stitchy friend. Like, ooh, I mean, do you just want to randomly see what I'm working on? Do you want me to like ask you what you're working on? Or like goals? What do you talk about with your stitchy friends? This is a first for me. So let's be friends. Let's be friends. Now, I feel like I'm a bit of a train wreck mentally today. It's been a couple bad sleeping nights and like several headache days. So we'll get through this together. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things I worked on. Yeah. 5 things I worked on that since my last video that I'm going to show you right now. The first is Father Christmas with Toys, Max Color by Yvonne Gilbert, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. And this is stitched on 28 count, easy count. It is 2/1/10 stitch, which is my jam. And it's really not that big. It's only got like 250,000 stitches. This is what it looks like in its entirety. The red outlines that you can see, that marks the edges of the piece. And you can see that I've done some extreme cross country, and we've got lots of little waist away knots, which I am excited to get rid of. But this is what I worked on. This is page 1, and oh, here we go. And it's a nuisance. I think I said this on my last video because I had started it, working on it. Regular size Max Color is harder than a supersize Max Color, believe it or not. This has 175 colors, I think. Yeah, 175 colors. And this, it's gonna look fantastic when it's done, but it's like snow falling and trees, and it's just looks like that. That's all. Why can't I get that right? There we go. So that's what I did. I think these darker colors in here are trees. Yeah, you can see up here, maybe if it's thinking about focusing, I can see it trying. Anyway, they're trees. So I got in not very much, 2,000 stitches, 2,068 stitches, and that brings me to a grand total of 2.87% complete. I will at least get 10,000 stitches on it this year because I assigned it to a Wonder of the World from Full Coverage Fanatics, so that I would at least get 10,000 stitches on it. Full Coverage Fanatics is a Facebook group, in case you did not know that. Okay, so I also worked on, here we go, Mystery Town Stitch Along. This is a Ship's Manor Stitch Along from 2017, and this may or may not be the finished product. It actually, it's not, because of how Eric designed it. So this part, I'm calling part 1 all of the background, and because he sent that out first, and then each of the parts basically has 2 options that you can pick which one you stitch. And so this is what one person stitched, and very well could be different than what I stitch. But I will show you what I did. I did all of part 1, and it took me like 2 days to do, so I don't know why I haven't touched this piece in 5 years. Actually, I do know why. It's because making the decisions on which buildings to choose was like super overwhelming, so I just didn't touch it. But I have made all the decisions now. So I did the barn with apple trees and beehives. The apple trees are different color than charted. It called for a Ship's Manor color that I didn't have. It wasn't part of the pack that I was sent when I purchased this oh so many years ago. So I looked up that color on the Ship's Manor website and found a DMC color that was similar. So I'm roughly 30% done that chart, and I could finish it super fast if I wanted to, but I don't, because I want this to last until May. I'm not going to have any finishes before May. Just saying, because I got plans for May, and they involve everything. Okay, this next piece was a new start of an old kit. Ooh, how do I not get this glary? Here we go. It's from Sunset Company, Sunset Designs. It says, "One is nearer God's heart in a garden," and I believe that. It's one reason why I stitched my treasure hunt bookshelf instead of in front of a window. I'm pointing over here because that's where it is. And why this chair faces my windows is so that even when I'm inside, I still have this connection to the outside. So I'm using all the kit stuff. So this is 14 count. And look at this. I got far. Since this was a new start, I need to sew the edges because they fray quite a bit. But you can see the blue border all the way around, and then the ivy leaves, these will go in each of the corners, but that tells you how big this, or small really, how small this piece is. And I think right now that this rose arbor is my favorite part. I love this brick wall going into the rose arbor. So this piece I took with me on my trip. Let me show you the picture. So there's the wall and the arbor. And this is a piece that the back stitching will make a big difference on. So I was on a trip for several days and took this piece with me, and several of the days I didn't have a lot of time outside of, you know, trip doings, but I always put in at least one length of floss or more, and I just worked at it and got a lot of work on it in the airplanes. So, did I even tell you what that was? Peaceful Garden Path. I showed you the picture. Alright, next up. Woodland Enchantress. It's a Dimensions kit, the gold collection. And I barely touched this, but there was a weekend challenge prompt in the Facebook group Full Coverage Fanatics for February. The theme was sweets. Sweet. Singular, I think. And you could fit the theme however you wanted to. I saw somebody in the event posted like the Headless Horseman, and I'm super interested how that connects. She didn't say how it connected, and I meant to leave a comment for her, because I love hearing how people fit the prompts in unusual ways. So I picked this one because of the flowers, because spring is a very sweet time and flowers smell sweet. But I didn't do very much on this. This is the whole thing. And I think I only did 2 squares, this one, and then part of this one. So I really didn't get far, and all of this is half cross. There's a few colors over here that are full cross, but I don't think I get most of the full cross until I hit the girl, the Enchantress. I think she is full cross and the background is half cross. This is my first gold collection kit, so I don't fully know all the things, but I'll figure it out. Okay, so that is 16.86% done. And And of course, last but absolutely not least is Treasure Hunt Bookshelf. Supersized Max Color by Amy Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Design. This has 239 colors and looks like that. If you want to see the first shelf stitched all the way, go and watch my first Flosstube because that is where I show it. But I'm working on the second shelf right now. Ta-da! This is 28 count easy count 2/1 stitch. And whereas Father Christmas was 500,000, this one is 500,000, 250,000 stitches. This one is 3/4 stitches when all is said and done. And I reached the milestone of being 1/3 of the way done, which is very exciting. I'm currently sitting at 33.61%. I've added 6,800 stitches since my last video. And I didn't exactly look. I guess I could see. I don't know. I don't know where I was last time I showed this, but I know I was working in here with the hummingbird in the window. And then you come down here and you have the purple flowers in this vase, which I think turned out fantastic. And I noticed down here, it's got these stripy thingies, unlike the rest of the shelf here. And so I don't know what's going on there, but it's intentional. And then I started back up here with the sky, and then this is the girl, and her dress comes down here to here, I think. And so I'm gonna stitch everything on this side of the girl for my next vignette. So all of this I stitched this morning. I think this is the edge of her coming down, or like the shadow of her gown or something. I'll figure it out as I go. I have no idea. So this is my pride and joy. It's this, for sure, my masterpiece. I show in my last video, it's titled Stitch With Me with explanations, and it's a 22-minute video about how I guess the process with which I go about stitching. And a few of you have asked me to keep making Stitch With Me videos. So I probably will, maybe on the weeks that I don't put up a Flosstube video, I will do a stitch video. I won't talk in them because I just won't. I won't talk in them, so you can just have a silent stitchy partner while you are stitching. Da-da-da! The other thing I worked on that is not stitching was knitting. So I said I was going to start another pair of socks, but this time from the toe up, and I'm also doing it 2 at a time. So it looks backwards to me because I'm left-handed. There we go. I love them. They're so fun. So my trip, I went to Florida, and there were some times when we were just standing in line waiting for things, and I took this with me, and I would stand in line and just knit. Had some lovely conversations with people around me about what I was working on and how they also did things like knit and crochet. It was quite lovely. But I love this yarn. This is what the ball looks like. There's 2 balls, one for each sock. But I love how they work up these stripes. So I'm knitting another pair of socks, and I love it. I'm going to do, a couple people suggested some different type of heels, which I've been looking at them, and both of them seem super interesting. But the one I'm going to do on this is, I've heard it called a couple different names, but one of the one that I'm remembering right now is an afterthought heel. And so I just put this away. Now let me pull it back out. Basically, when I get to the point where I would normally start a heel, instead I'm going to put in some waste yarn and then keep stitching like I am now until I reach how high I want it to be, and I do the cuff. And then you go back and pick up the stitches where you put in the waste yarn, and you take the waste yarn out, and then you can stitch in your heel. So your heel is like completely separate from the rest of the sock, and so you can replace the heel if the heel is the part of your sock that wears out the quickest. In this case, I'm doing it because the yarn is very striped like this, and so I want to keep the stripe making sense all the way up, and then put in the heel. And I don't care if the heel striping is different, or I could just use a different solid color if I felt like finding another one. But I think I'm just going to use this kind of yarn. Anyway, so that's my plan with my socks. Now, let me show you my plans for this week, because I didn't look to see what I was going to work on after this week. I guess I could look it up. I have a rotation that I worked out. It's a 6-week rotation that incorporates all of my whips. I know what I should have grabbed. I am going to go grab what I'm going to work on next week, because I do want to show it to you. I grabbed what I wanted to show you, except that's not the next thing I was going to show you. I'm going to show you what I'm going to work on this week. I actually already started one of them. This is Frodo and Galadriel by Matt Stewart, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. Frodo and Galadriel under the trees in Lothlorien. And I did stitch on it yesterday, but whatever. That's what it looks like currently. I know I worked in through here. Some of these darker colors and in through these yellows. What I'm trying to do is finish the page, which I think this is the edge of the page, in through here. Maybe. Something like that. This is 3.something%. 3.27% done, not including what I just stitched on yesterday. The other piece that I will pull out this week is another stitch along from 2017. This one is by Lakeside Needlecraft. That is what it will look like when it is finished. Down here is a place for you to put like your name or initials or when you stitched it or whatever. And let's see, so under the seesaw, and this is 18 count fabric. Frodo and Galadriel's on 25 count. It's 25 count ungridded, so it's got a different kind of a challenge going on with it, but this is a very pretty fabric. It's ombre, it's lighter up top and darker down at the bottom. But I will be finishing up this section with the jellyfish. This fish needs stitched, back stitch, and I think I'm missing a couple other like seaweed or something in there, I don't know. And if I happen to finish that part, I'll move on to the next part, which is a mermaid. So here is a mermaid with some fish that come down here. The metallic in this piece is not fun to stitch with. It's a DMC metallic, and it's just not fun. That's okay. When I finish the octopi, then it'll be 50% done. That piece. Now, I said that it was my birthday next week. And I'm going to start something. This is probably a terrible idea, and I should just insert a picture. But I'm not going to. I'm going to do this terrible idea. If I can find it. Obviously, I wasn't prepared. Here we go. Tilt it. Maybe. Here we go. Here we go. Oh, and there's so much glare from the windows. Let's tilt it this way. Okay. So that's me. And that is the castle, Cinderella's castle at Disney World in Florida. And you can't tell very easily because I'm being a terrible person and not inserting a picture. If you want to see this, shoot me a message on Instagram and I will send this to you. But it is lit up with purples and blues for their 50th anniversary of Disney World, which was happening this year. And in the daylight, it looks like that. It's painted with pinks. This is terrible. It's painted with pinks and blue. And gold. The reason this matters is because it's my birthday start. I love it. Okay, so I saw this first and only, really, I guess. I've not seen anybody else stitch it. Look, my little hairs are like all over the place and they're distracting me. Should I just like stick him? Okay. I should not just stick them in my face. So, Ashley at Boogie Stitcher. She's got a Flosstube. She is stitching this one. She's like up here, I think on the 3rd page. And as soon as I saw this, the very first time she showed it, I knew I needed it because it is, I've wanted to stitch this forever. And, well, not this one particular, because I didn't know this one particular. I told you this was going to be a train wreck a bit. I love Cinderella's Castle. I actually have a 3D. I have it as a 3D puzzle, and it's right on the other side of this curtain, but I'm going to resist showing it to you because I'm all over the place. I am all over the place. But I haven't loved any of the charts I've seen. So this is the castle that Cinderella's Castle was based off of, and I love this one. Partially, I think, because it has the castle as like a good portion instead of just a very small portion of the whole chart. There's a lot of blues, and like the sky is very pretty with its purples, and it's snowy. It's got some snow in it. I love it. So I got it. And this is what I'm going to be starting on. There's no need for me to show you my fabric, but that's my fabric. It's 25 count Lugana. And I'm going to be starting this on my birthday. That may be the only day I stitch on it until its time comes up in my 6-week rotation. Or not. Maybe I'll just stitch on it like the whole weekend because it's pretty and I just might want to. I have one more thing to show you, and then I promise I will release you from whatever hypnosis I have woven over you to keep you watching this long. Oh, sorry. I didn't open this. I'm going to try to open this very, very, very quietly. But I got a fabric. I showed in maybe my second video a pattern, a Bella Filipina pattern. Mayari, deity of the moon. And I got her fabric. This thing took like 11 or 12 weeks, but I got it. And it's so pretty. My daughter looked at it and said, "Is it really going to be that big?" And I don't actually think it's going to be that big. I did want a generous border, but a 1/4 yard wasn't going to be enough. And so this is a 1/2 yard. What do they call them? Fat? Do we call them fat halves? I don't know. But look at that. This is from Be Stitch Me. It's called Cosmos. And this is a 28 count Lugana, opalescent. You can see how sparkly it is. But there you go. Oh, maybe. There. That's what I got. It's so sparkly, and she's going to be so pretty on this. But I will warn you, if you order something that's not ready to ship, it will take a while. So don't order something that you want to start right away. Because I ordered this in November, and it really did take quite a while. But she does have a Fabric of the Month Club, and whatever leftover she has from that, she will put up on, like, she has a tab that's called Ready to Ship, I think. And so you can always take a look there. She also has a Facebook group. where every other Friday, I think, I don't know, some Fridays I think it's called Friday Night Fun. I'm telling you this, and I only barely know what I'm talking about. She throws up like a whole bunch of fabrics, like tons and tons and tons. There's multiple, it's all kind of counts, and there's Aida and Lugana and even weave, like there's linen, and it's like the first one to claim it gets it, but you can always claim next, because sometimes the first person drops out or doesn't pay or has to pick and choose between which ones they really want to get. So I haven't done that yet. I've only gotten this one, and I'm super happy with it. And that's all I have to show you. So I release you to go back to your life where I'm not just droning on about whatever I have talked about in this video. I really shouldn't do this when I have a headache. But if I waited, it could be a long, 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 long time, because I never know when I won't have a headache. Anyway, I love you all, and I will see you again, hopefully, in 2 weeks. Remember to let me know in the comments how old you think I am and how old you think I look. And we're going to have some fun.